Hi guys, so for mine and Rachel's unit plan, we're going to be focusing on social justice and equality and how we can advocate for that and teach our students how they can advocate for that too. So throughout our whole lessons, we're focusing on 5th grade. So for our first mini lesson, which is aligned with the social and emotional learning standard, we're focusing on peer pressure. So our objectives are students will understand and identify examples of positive and negative peer pressure, and then they will develop strategies to help prevent them from giving in to negative peer pressure that they may come across. So then we have 2 social and emotional learning standards. The first one will be list positive strategies for handling conflict, and then recognize the difference between positive and negative relationships. And then we have 2 formative assessments, Cloud Art and the Exit Slip. Cloud Art is a link that will be sent to them, and they'll be given examples of positive and negative peer pressure, and they'll have to distinguish between the two. And then the exit slip will be talking about what are 2 ways they can resist peer pressure, and they'll complete that at the end of class and turn it in. So then we have our engage, connect, and launch, and we'll have students start off with a think, pair, share, and then connect the lesson, asking them if they went along with any peer pressure they've ever been in contact with, and then launching it by just explaining what we're doing for the day. So our first activity is introducing students to the difference between positive and negative peer pressure. We'll do this by playing a video that explains the difference, then giving examples from our own lives, and then having students share their positive and negative peer pressure examples through the Cloud Art link that I had mentioned. And then we'll move on to our activity 2, where we'll role play in small groups. So they'll be given scenarios with both negative and positive peer pressure, and we'll have to decide how they want to react to that and play it out with their groups. And then we'll share our experiences with the class. And then we'll just close it off by asking students why negative peer pressure can be so harmful, and then giving them an exit slip to explain 2 ways they've ever resisted peer pressure. So like I mentioned earlier, our unit plan will be for 5th grade. So the purpose of it will be this unit will make them aware of social justice and equality and how they can advocate for that and make the public around them aware of this too. So they'll be creating posters and campaigns to do so. The audience will be the school community and the outside community as well. And then the final product will be a Google Slides presentation campaign and posters to hang around the school and the community that will advocate for social justice and equality. So just the key elements of the final product will be introduction, defining social justice and equality, what are good sources to use to get information and research from, how to create a Google Slides presentation or posters, what are ways that they can advocate in the school and their community, tying in civil rights to this, who is their audience and why is this important, and then conclusion and concluding thoughts. So it's going to be an informative unit plan. So then this is our chart of lessons. So I'll start off by explaining the project launch. So we're going to start off by showing the kids a video on equality, equity, and social justice. And then they're going to be able to define equality and social justice in their own words, and then write a paragraph just explaining a time that they ever saw equality or social justice around them, or if they ever saw lack of either of those two in their community. And then we move on to reading and research, and then students will read a couple books and write down notes and research that they want to use in their final project. So there's a couple of that. We have I Am Malala, Marley Diaz Gets It Done and So Can You, and Rise Up, The Art of Protest, and also Rosa Parks' My Story. So we have those, and we also have another video, Virtual Movement Inspires Kids to Use Art for Peaceful Protest. For my lesson plan, I wanted to focus on Marley Diaz Gets It Done and So Can You. So for this lesson, students will they'll gain knowledge of how to use social media to positively impact those around them and support social justice and equality and activism and inclusion in the community. So my 3 activities, I'll have explaining the summative assessment, so just giving a rundown of what I expect the students to create from all the research they've done. And then I think parents share, so they're going to brainstorm ideas of what they want their summative assessment to look like and what they hope to get out of all the research they do. And then activity 3 will be reading the book, Marley Diaz Gets It Done and So Can You. And they'll take time to read this and write out their research and pick out key points and quotes they want to use for their summative assessment. And then we'll just close it off by doing an exit slip, and then they'll just continue research for their summative assessment. So this is just one of the books we used in our chart that I showed you guys above from the reading and research section that I had. Let me scroll up to that. So this one. So specifically with this text, they'll become aware of their strengths and identify how they can use those strengths to make positive changes in their communities. And they will also become aware of supports around them that they can go to when they need help, such as teachers, parents, peers, or etc. And from reading this book, they'll also be able to define what activism, social justice, volunteerism, equity, and inclusion mean. And then they'll be able to express good ways they can use social media to support these causes that I mentioned. So yeah, that is our first half of our unit plan, and Rachel will explain the second half as well as her lesson plan. Thanks for listening.